We begin with escalating tensions in West Asia. The United States and Iran have exchanged sharp warnings over Tehran's nuclear program as the U.S. military presence in the region continues to grow. In the latest development, Turkey is stepping into the U.S.-Iran standoff, offering to mediate between Washington and Tehran. Turkey's foreign minister is set to reiterate Turkey's opposition to military interventions against Iran. Reports say Ankara is also weighing contingency plans along its long and fragile 530-kilometer border with the country. Among the options being considered are stepping up the deployment of advanced border security technology and increasing troop presence along the frontier. Meanwhile, President Trump has issued a warning saying that time is running out for Tehran to negotiate a new nuclear deal.
A massive armada is heading to Iran. It is moving quickly with great power, enthusiasm and purpose. It is a larger fleet, headed by the great aircraft carrier Abraham Lincoln, than that sent to Venezuela. Like with Venezuela, it is ready, willing and able to rapidly fulfill its mission, with speed and violence, if necessary. Hopefully Iran will quickly come to the table and negotiate a fair and equitable deal. No nuclear weapons, one that is good for all parties.
Well, Tehran, however, maintains that its nuclear program is entirely peaceful and has consistently denied seeking nuclear weapons. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio on Wednesday told lawmakers that the Iranian regime is weaker than ever, pointing to economic collapse and widespread public anger. He said the U.S. military buildup is meant to defend against potential Iranian action.
But that's, I think, what you're seeing now, is the ability to posture assets in the region to defend against what could be an Iranian threat against our personnel. They certainly have the capability to do it because they've amassed thousands and thousands of ballistic missiles that they've built. Despite the fact that their economy is collapsing, they keep spending money on that.
Rubio also said that the president retains the option of preemptive action if there are clear signs of an imminent threat from Iran.
In essence, if we have indications that, in fact, they're going to attack our troops in the region, to defend our personnel in the region. We also have security agreements, the Defense of Israel Plan and others, that require us to have a force posture in the region to defend against that.
Meanwhile, Iran says its armed forces are on high alert and ready to respond immediately and forcefully to any attack by land or sea. Tehran's UN mission also said that Iran is ready for talks with the United States, but warned it will defend itself if provoked.
Our position is clear. Negotiations cannot take place under threats, and any talks must be conducted in conditions where threats and excessive demands are set aside.
Well, now the European Union has imposed new Iran sanctions targeting individuals involved in a violent crackdown on protesters. EU foreign ministers are also meeting in Brussels, where they're expected to approve a new round of sanctions targeting Tehran.
France announced yesterday that it will support the inclusion of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, on the European Union's list of terrorist organisations, because there can be no impunity for the crimes committed.
Chef d'unité de police, membre du corps des gardiens de la Révolution.
Iran has cautioned that there would be destructive consequences if the European Union designates the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps as a terrorist organization. Iran's reaction comes after Italy's foreign minister called on Brussels to move forward with the proposal after Argentina already designated the IRGC as a terrorist group. The group itself has warned that any neighboring country allowing its territory to be used for attacks on Iran will be treated as hostile. The warning followed the arrival of a U.S. aircraft carrier group in the region. Satellite images show at least 15 U.S. fighter jets have arrived at Jordan's Muwafaq Air Force Base. Additional aircraft have also been deployed to bases in Qatar and Diego Garcia in the Indian Ocean. The American aircraft carrier, the USS Abraham Lincoln, has also arrived in the region. Iran has responded by deploying a drone carrier near its coast. The country's army chief also confirmed that a new batch of 1,000 drones have been added to its defense arsenal.
The Islamic Republic of Iran is confident in its own capabilities and also bears in mind past experiences, including the heroic confrontation of June. More capable than ever, it will respond to any act of aggression with a comprehensive and regret-inducing response.
Meanwhile, German Chancellor Friedrich Merz says the Iranian leadership is running out of time as US President Donald Trump steps up warnings of possible intervention, and the ripple effect is being felt beyond the region. While speaking with his Chinese counterpart, the Russian defense minister said that events in Venezuela and Iran show the need for coordinated actions by both Chinese and Russian defense forces. Well, tensions between Washington and Tehran escalated after weeks of anti-regime protests in Iran, which killed at least 3,000 people in a brutal crackdown. And now, with military assets moving and diplomacy stalled, the risk of miscalculation in West Asia is continuing to grow. Well, for more on this, we're joined by Ruzbe Parsi, who's a senior adjunct lecturer at Lund University, joining us live from Sweden. Welcome to the program. Let me ask you first, if I may, how seriously should the region be taking this US military deployment along with Donald Trump's threats?
I think it should be taken seriously for the simple reason that it's very difficult to predict what Donald Trump will do in the end. And when he amasses these kind of troops and the rhetoric, I think it would be naive to not think that something could happen. And we can also see that there is both domestic pressure to not engage too much, but also pressure to react. In this case, primarily because of the way the Iranian state has been using violence against its own population.
Iran says it has a right to defend itself, but what form would that take? Would it be looking at disrupting important shipping routes, for example?
Well, I think for the Iranians, it's clear that their previous attempts of being, if you will, calming things down and not escalating as a way of showing the Americans that they can be responsible actors has not paid off. So basically, they're now in a mode where they want to show that they're willing to go all in if they are attacked, and they will use all their military assets to show the Americans that they are not to be played with. Now, that would, of course, entail attacks on American assets and bases in the region, as well as potentially using mines or otherwise make it very difficult to use the shipping lanes of the Persian Gulf.
And how would Russia and China then react to any American attack on Iran?
Well, I don't think they're going to expend too much energy or political capital to defend Iran in any way, but they also don't like the principle that Donald Trump is now basically setting, which is that the United States is unbound. It will use whatever military and economic assets it has for its own ends, never mind if there are any international rules or agreements that it used to respect in some shape or form. And if Iran were to fall in whatever form in terms of American attacks, that of course would change the calculus and the whole geopolitical map of the region, which would affect both Russia and especially China very much.
So if America does strike, what kind of targets would its military be looking at?
Well, this is the big question, because if you listen to Donald Trump, it seems like he wants to change or make the regime go away. And for that, you're going to need much more than a few strikes. It's not going to be like Venezuela, and it's not going to be like the 12-day war in June last year when they destroyed some Iranian nuclear facilities. The Iranian political and military system is very dispersed. It has a lot of redundancy, which means that if you kill one person, there is someone else who can fill that post. So if he's serious about regime change, the endeavor and the effort would be something very different from what I think he domestically can actually sell, because I don't think the MAGA movement, which is his main base, is interested in yet another longish war in the Middle East.
Ruzbe Parsi, we very much appreciate your insights. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
The world doesn't fit in boxes, so why should your news? From battlefields to negotiation tables, from internet outrage to real-world injustice. The conversations everyone is having and the ones they're avoiding. It's the same show, but this new year, Firstpost America gets a new look. I'm Cary Johnston, and this is Firstpost America.